Thank you, Larry. We've got breaking news coming in right now. Let's bring in the House Assistant Whip for the House Republican Conference, New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, and from House Financial Services, New York Congressman Mike Lawler. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Evening Edit. First to you, Congresswoman Malliotakis. A new poll from the well-regarded Quinnipiac, Trump now leads Biden 49% to 45%, and Trump leads Biden with independents 51% to 41%. Congresswoman, this is a reversal. During the Trump New York trial, they were virtually tied, and Trump is now gaining with black voters. Trump now has nearly a fifth of the black vote. What do you think of this, Congresswoman?
Well, I think people are seeing their everyday life and how difficult it has been under Joe Biden. The reality is our border is not secure. They're seeing ISIS crossing and being caught in the middle of the United States. We have 2 police officers in New York City that were shot by an illegal immigrant, a 13-year-old girl that was raped, and then you have multiple murders, including that poor 12-year-old girl, Jocelyn from Texas, all by illegal immigrants that Joe Biden let in. Remember, he actually directed the administration to allow these individuals to be released into the interior. And so people are upset with that. They're upset with the high cost of living. Interest rates are the highest they've been in decades. People can't afford a mortgage to buy a home and live the American dream. And they're suffering every single day when they go to the supermarket to buy everyday goods, put food on the table. And so this is, I think, a correct response we're seeing from the American people who are just fed up with everything going wrong under Joe Biden, and they want to return to the prosperity and the national security and the public safety we had under the Trump administration.
So you, Congressman Lawler, what Congresswoman Malliotakis says, it just indicated, we're digging into later in the show, 400 illegal aliens inside the U.S. via an ISIS-linked terrorist smuggling ring at the border. 50 are still out there on the loose. Your reaction to top squad member Jamaal Bowman losing in the Democrat primary in New York, is the tide turning against the far left in this country? Because Bowman blames his loss on, quote, dark money and people being brainwashed reportedly about, Israel.
Look, that's sour grapes from a loser. The reality is this: Jamaal Bowman has nobody to blame but himself for his radical ideology and the policies that he has supported, including opposing Israel, engaging in rank anti-Semitism, and supporting the disastrous policies at the border of Joe Biden. And when you look at what has happened in a state like New York, where Democrats control everything in Albany, everything in New York City, I think New Yorkers are fed up and they're tired of the extremists. They want rational, reasonable people. It's why George Latimer, the centrist Democrat from Westchester County, beat Jamaal Bowman in the primary. You had Republicans switching their enrollment to vote for George Latimer in the primary because they were absolutely outraged by Jamaal Bowman's conduct. And so when you see Jamaal Bowman or AOC or any of the other squad members, the reality is that across the country, Americans are fed up with the extremists, and they want a policy that is focused on securing our borders, that's focused on growing our economy, reducing taxes, reducing the cost of living, and an American foreign policy that adheres to peace through strength and supports our allies rather than appeasing our adversaries.
Let's pick up on what Congressman Lawler said, and also you, Congressman Malliotakis. So this indicates a split in the Democrat Party. Basically, we're seeing it on the East and West Coast. Jamaal Bowman says he's going to battle for humanity, battle for justice. Really? I mean, Jamaal Bowman called the rape, murder, and torture of Israeli hostages by Hamas, quote, propaganda and lies. Hamas is a terror group listed as such by the U.S. and the EU.
That's right. The Democrats are finally noticing that they have to get away from this far left fringe in their party. And that was, I think, a very significant message that was sent last night. And hopefully the Democrats across New York woke up and will stop moving more and more to the left to appease a radical base. And what I will say is also people like Mike Lawler, who flipped seats 2 years ago. We flipped assembly seats in my congressional district, 4 of them. And we also flipped a city council seat in the Bronx, in the heart of Alexandria Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's district last year. That's telling me that people in New York are fed up with one-party rule, which is why you're seeing even somebody like President Trump, who in a liberal state like New York, polling in the 40s. If he's doing that well in the state of New York, imagine how well he's doing across America. And I think that's what we're going to see this election cycle, is a correction that's been needed. The pendulum has swung too far to the left. We're going to see it correct itself like you're seeing happening all across Europe and also in countries in South America, like El Salvador and Argentina, for example.
Interesting. You know, we are going to dig in later in the show. DHS Secretary Mayorkas downplaying the border crisis, saying the border is secure, they've got it under control. You know, we've seen now illegal immigrant crime, right, coming and hitting and killing people, women being raped. We're seeing people on television downplay that as just rounding errors, data points. Let's listen, though, to young voters, the youth vote. Let's listen to what they're saying to Fox News and why they're not going to vote for Joe Biden. Listen to this.
I grew up in this social media culture that was very dominated by left-wing propaganda, for lack of a better word, that was pushed to me through the algorithms. I was very into it until I started to come out of it and realize that a lot of what I believed was very emotional and not really based in logic or fact. It really all came to a head around 2020 when I started to see how democratic policies were playing out in my city. Cashless bail, for one, you know, the riots after the killing of George Floyd, you know, Madison Avenue being completely decimated by, you know, these roving bands of rioters.
Congressman Lawler, final word.
Look, the American people can see for themselves the result of the disastrous policies of this administration. Our border is porous and less secure. You've had over 10 million migrants cross into this country since Joe Biden took office, most of them illegally, 90% of them released into the country, 70% of these asylum cases rejected when they're finally heard. You have one of the most expensive, highest cost of living economies in decades under Joe Biden, record inflation, 30-year fixing interest mortgage rates at record highs. This is a result of a feckless policy of the Biden administration, and the world is on fire. It is a tinderbox under Joe Biden, and voters see that. And so that is what is going to be at stake in this election, and I think you're seeing the course correction, as Nicole rightly outlined.
Congressman Malliotakis, Congressman Lawler, thanks for joining us.